Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Here we go! Say yeah! Woohoo! Oh, that's a great line. That is a great line.
Almost fucking killed me! You're welcome!
Hey guys, what is up? It's been a while since I've done one of these videos. Been a while, been a second. I was trying to get back into doing this series. Then I got COVID. Yeah, that sucks. So I kind of stopped it. And then I decided to go on a little vacation to take a little mental break from everything going on in my life. Had a nice vacation for a week. That's why you didn't see anything really uploaded for a week for me. Because I wasn't able to because I was just taking a mental break. And now I'm back, and I've been wanting to start this. I want to start this up again. I was thinking about doing it Monday, Tuesday. Monday I got packed with stuff. Tuesday I got packed with stuff. But today I'm not, and I'm gonna really try this time. Really try this time to get these up every day, or maybe every few days. I don't know yet, but I want to get these up. But there's a lot of things I want to talk about today in the movie and TV realm. Everything that's going on. It's basically what I wanted to say, just a little intro before we start the video. But yeah, let's get into these topics that we'll be talking about today. A lot of movie news coming out, and we'll start off with this one first. Now, the Matrix franchise, I think, has not been its best since they had the original movie, and I think they did 3 movies, most of them are okay. And then we got, a few years ago, in 2020, during the pandemic, we got, I think, The Matrix Resurrections. Yes, I think that's what it was called, yeah. And it was totally hyped about, you had one of the original directors, Lana Wachowski, coming back to direct it. Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, Jada Pinkett Smith was going to be in there. Like, oh, what's not to love? Like, this is going to be a great time, It's been a few years since a Matrix movie, let's go see it. Well, the movie came out, and, wasn't, that great. I would say it was a okay movie. A lot of people said they did not like it, thought it was terrible, but I thought, hey, it's okay. And we're like, whoa, I guess that's it. Matrix franchise, oh, it's done. Over. Matrix, never getting anyone again. We were wrong about that. According to Deadline, they say a new Matrix movie in works at Warner Brothers from Drew Goddard. And I was surprised to see them making another one of these movies. And, I think, you're going to returning to a franchise, that's pretty beloved. It's beloved, like, it's a great franchise, not really hit and miss, but, like, I didn't know who Drew Goddard was. I'm like, who is Drew? What has he done? What has Drew Goddard done? Well, he was a screenwriter on The Martian, which was an Oscar, I believe, nominated film. But that's his good part. But he also directed Cabin in the Woods, which wasn't the strongest horror movie in my opinion. It was not strong. It was an interesting horror movie, but not the best. And Lana Wachowski, she is still in a movie. She is executive producing the movie. And it's still not known that if the cast is going to return, and I think that's a good thing, not confirming the cast will return, because in my mind, I think that I don't think you need to reboot it. You don't need to reboot the Matrix. Like, it's like, before the movie failed, well, I guess we got to reboot. No, like, don't reboot it. Like, maybe just focus on another character. Focus on a new character that you can tell. You don't want to tell the story of Neo and Trinity, because you've totally told that like 4 times like already, and it hasn't been working. No. Resurrections told you, like, hey, maybe people, like, everyone loves Keanu Reeves. Like, I love Keanu. He's the best. But I don't think people are totally inclined to go see a Matrix movie anymore because of just the reputation the last films have had. I think the first one has been really the one everyone gravitates for. I had seen that Matrix when I was in middle school, but when I got to high school, we watched the Matrix in like my theology class, because I did go to a Catholic high school, and we watched it in the class, and it was like it's such an impactful movie, especially like not in the industry of Hollywood and even the world, you know. And no one has. I don't think anyone's really cared about a new one. Like they announced it today, and I don't see anyone talking about it. I don't see anyone talking about. I was like, oh, Matrix 5, and they got a very iffy director. He's a good writer, but sometimes if you're a good writer, sometimes you're not the greatest director. But I do think that they should not, in my opinion, don't get mad, they should go for new cast. A new cast, bring in a new main character. I'm like, and like, you're probably thinking like, oh, wow, you think, oh, make it woke, put a woman in there. I'm like, I don't think it matters who's in the movie. If the leading character is a man, a woman, or a freaking zebra. Like, it's okay. It just matters if you have a story worth telling. Like, my thing is, like, don't just make a movie because you want to, like, oh, let's expand the franchise, let's make blah, blah, blah because, it's going to make money, but we have really bad story. I'm like, what's the story you want to tell now? Because I think The Matrix could have if you tell a really compelling story, it could have a really, really compelling audience to go see it because, we're living in a world today where we have artificial intelligence. We live in a world where we have virtual reality. And, that Matrix came out, I think, 1999 or 98. I can't remember. Maybe it's 2000s. I don't know the exact date. But, you tell a story like this, like, it's even more prevalent today than it was back then because of AI and all this. And, like, you could tell a really interesting story. Really interesting. If you want to do it with Keanu and Carrie Ann Moss, go ahead and do that. But I think you have an opportunity to introduce a new generation to the Matrix. A new generation that can be very impactful. I think, AI movies, movies about artificial intelligence, about technology are going to be having more recently. I think Creator kind of started that conversation where it's like Creator felt like really real when it was coming out, and I think Matrix could be that too. I think that you bring in someone new to reinvigorate the franchise, and I think that's what Drew's going to do. He's going to do that. But that's my thoughts. Are you guys even excited for a Matrix movie, or did you even guys think like, Matrix, don't care, or you're like, ooh, excited? What do you think about their new director? Do you think it's going to be a hit or miss? Please tell me below. And yeah, that's going to be that topic. Let's move on to our second topic now. Which, there's a few topics we got on this list that I want to talk about. But this one was interesting. So, Madam Web. Ooh, we thought we were done talking about Madam Web. Well, I guess we're not because Madam Web, it was an ultimate disaster. It was probably one of the worst comic book movie I've ever seen, and one of the worst movies I've seen in a long time. I think they totally botched the story. I think they did everyone in that movie dirty. Everyone, And we're finding about stuff a bit more about how the Madam Web we saw wasn't going to be the Madam Web originally. This comes from thecomic.com. Madam Web concept art appears to reveal plans for Tom Holland's scrapped cameo as Spider-Man. Now, I saw this concept art, man. I thought I can get an idea what the movie they're trying to tell now with this concept art. We go. I'm gonna put the concept art up screen, and basically, it was not Madam. It wasn't Ezekiel Sims trying to be like, oh, we gotta fight. These girls are gonna kill me. I'm like, okay, this was kind of like the leak a few years ago, where the leak was like Ezekiel Sims goes back in time to kill baby Peter Parker because he stops him, and he fails, and he goes back in time, and there's blah blah blah, all the time travel, that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, that was really interesting hearing about that. And then for some reason, Sony's like, no, we don't want to mess with MCU. We do not want to mess with it. Maybe it's Marvel and they're not wanting to connect Tom Holland to a shitty ass movie, but my thing is for the Sony universe, I don't think they need to have Tom Holland in that universe, because you look at Batman, for me, if you look at the Batman character, there have been so many Batmans, and there have been Batmans right around the same time. We had Ben Affleck and kind of Robert Pattinson at the same time. Ben Affleck was appearing in Flash. We even had 2 Batmans in a movie. So why do we need only one Spider-Man? Only one person can play Spider-Man. Only one person can play Peter Parker. I'm like, okay, First off, like, I honestly think it was a bad idea. Like, even if they put Tom Holland in this movie, I don't think Tom Holland would have done it. You know, I think this would have kind of soured his Spider-Man franchise. I think, why don't you go get a new guy? Go get a new actor to play Spider-Man in your Sony universe, because you're making all these Sony movies. And I've talked about this a lot, guys. You know, if you go back on my channel, watch some of my videos on Madden Webcam, I've talked about this. Sony's universe. It's called the Sony Spider-Man universe. Not the Sony Venom universe. Not the Sony Morbius universe. Spider-Man. And you don't have a Spider-Man in the universe that is called after him. And it's just baffling to me. And this just also shows, in my opinion, Sony's stupidity. Where it's like, you have a great idea for the story. It's like, no, we can use Spider-Man, but what if we get these 3 girls, you know, to be in the film, and they are the ones that kill Ezekiel Sims? Oh, and let's hire the Morbius writers because they did such a fantastic job of Morbius. It just makes me mad, and I think it makes you mad how we live in an era now where we get movies like Barbie, Oppenheimer, Dune 2, with with great writing. You know, even, I'll admit, some of the okay movies this year, you know, they had better writing than Man and Web. You know, I look at last summer, you know, I look at Transformers Rise of the Beast. That movie wasn't perfect, but at least I came out of it thinking, like, I'd go see that again. That was a fun time. And I'm about to go see Godzilla vs. Kong this weekend because I couldn't go see it last week because I was on vacation. You know, I've heard things like, oh, well, it wasn't the greatest movie, but, you know, the kaiju action's awesome. I'm like, okay. And it still made $80 million. See, the thing about Sony is, I think, you know, this is my thing, like, ever since James Gunn made Guardians of the Galaxy, the studios now think that you can introduce the most random of characters and be like, yeah, audience will go see that. Yeah, audience will go see it. I'm like, that's not it. Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, it's not just a superhero movie. It's a sci-fi epic adventure film, you know. They make you fall in love with the Guardians. You know, that's what James Gunn did. And, you know, you make a movie about Madam Web. It's like, okay, why Madam Web? Why should I like Madam Web? You know, what, 'cause she's a paramedic? What, because her mom died in the Amazon studying spiders? No. I didn't like her at all. And, you know, that's nothing on par with Dakota Johnson's performance. Dakota Johnson, I think, is a terrific actress. You know, I watch her in The Peanut Butter Falcon. She's amazing. The Social Network. Oh, my God. The Social Network with her. Oh, totally in love with her. And I watch her in this. I'm like, it just felt like a paycheck. You know, I think that, not that her heart was in it. I think that they made a shitty script by shitty writers. And I'm not going to say anything about S.J. Clarkson. You know, there's a little bit of blame on her. Probably she never works again. But, you know, she worked on Game of Thrones. She was a Game of Thrones director. And, you know, I don't think she was in season 8. She was in the other seasons. And she was able to write, even though she was just a director, not the showrunner, she still made great television. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't translate all the way. But, you know, I look at him like even little Timmy, who lives down the street on his bicycle, could write a better movie than this was. And, you know, I think that Spider-Man is essential to your universe. And I think if there was Spider-Man in this movie, it doesn't have to be Tom Holland. You could just have some guy in a Spider-Man costume. Don't even say who it is. Just, I don't know, have Tom Holland's stunt double be in there. And have, like, someone double with the voice. Or have the stunt double voice speaking. It's like, okay, now I get it. This makes sense. Goes back in time to kill baby Peter Parker. I get why he'd be upset about that. But it's just a missed opportunity. Sony's got a lot of problems. I think Sony is a really, really great company. I think they're really great at making movies. They've made some really good movies. Like, I look at Dumb Money. That's a Sony movie. Great job. I look at Last of Us, made in partnership with Warner Brothers, is The Last of Us, and that's a Sony property. You know, Sony can make good things. And, you know, it just doesn't. And, like, I look at the stuff they've announced. Like we're gonna make a movie about El Morito. Nothing against, you know, with Bad Bunny. I'm like, nothing against him, but who the hell asked for an El Morito solo movie? Personally, not me. Personally, not anyone else I've heard, because I never heard of El Morito before, because he's, like, been in, like, 5 comic books. And then they're like, oh, You know, remember Donald Glover? You know how he was the Prowler in Spider-Man Homecoming? Yeah. And we've done that yet? Well, guess what? He's not going to play Prowler. He's going to play the Hydro Hustler. I'm like, who the hell is the Hydro Hustler? He's like, oh, he's this guy who it's like a disco man. I'm like, who wants to see that? Who wants to see a movie titled Marvel Presents the Hydro Hustler? Sony, I can tell you 5 characters. I'm going to give you a list of characters you make movies on right now. And you're guaranteed to make more than Morbius and Man Web combined. First off, you make a movie called Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly. Yes. You don't do the villains. I get Venom. I get Kraven. Those are big-time villains. You need to get audiences excited to go see your movies. Go get me excited, because I personally, you know, the only reason I was excited to see Man Web is because it was the first live-action Spider-Man movie by Sony to feature Spider-themed heroes, with Julie Carpenter, with oh my gosh, Anya Kazone and Maddie Franklin, who are all Spider people in the comics. And it's like, okay, and I'm a big Julie Carpenter fan. Duh. And because I was introduced to Julie Carpenter, I think a version of her through the Iron Man animated series. And you know, I think she's a really great character. And there was kind of a version of her that they called Jessica Drew in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics run, where she was like kind of Peter Parker's sister. That's a whole other thing you can learn about. But I think the decision to pull Spider-Man and not have a Spider-Man in the universe has been Sony's biggest mistake. But what do you think? Do you think it was a mistake not to have Spider-Man in the movie? And do you think they should have had Tom Holland in this movie? Or would he have even done it? Tell me your thoughts down below. And let's move on to this next topic here. Now, I know I've been talking a lot of negative today. A lot of negatives, you know, about The Matrix, you know, not being awesome. Madam Web. I can't believe I'm talking about Madam Web again. Well, at least we actually have some pretty cool news. According to Variety, The Punisher is back. John Bernthal enters the MCU as a bloodied Frank Castle in new Daredevil Born Again set photos. Now, I think the Netflix shows some of them were great, some of them weren't. But the two characters, I kept telling myself, you keep these 2 characters in the MCU, same actors, and I will watch anything. I will believe in you again, Marvel. And that was Charlie Cox and John Bernthal's Punisher. I love John Bernthal as the Punisher. I love John Bernthal as an actor. I would watch anything he's in. He is so good. He can go from being the biggest asshole in the room to being this like sensitive like guy who you're like, that guy would make a great dad. You know, he's such a great actor, and I'm so surprised he does not get much work. And I'm so glad he's back as the Punisher. The Punisher. Oh, so awesome. And I'm glad to see that like rumor like from months ago where it's like, oh, they're gonna change the skull of the uniform to like something more Disney friendly. Nah, the skull is the same. It is the same skull from the series. It's basically he has the same suit. And it's nice to see that he has blood all over his face, because this isn't gonna, it looks like this might not be a show for little Timmy who's riding his bike down the street. No. Little Timmy, you can go watch What If you want to go through. This is not going to be for your kids. And it's so great to see him with Charlie Cox again, you know, and I think this just upped my anticipation for the series. We knew that he was probably returning, but it's nice for Marvel to announce it, and I think they brought it out today because they knew they would be filming this stuff, because they've already been leaked. They're like, okay, before it leaks, we got to get this out to the media, tell them, hey, John Bernthal is back as Punisher, here he is, no leaks, because it would have been leaked on set. And of course I would have wished like maybe this to be a surprise for when the series comes out, but you know, I'm just super pumped, you know. John Bernthal, I hope he kills it. I hope this show kills, you know. That's what I hope, because you know, Daredevil was a great series, but these are different people doing Daredevil. Different people. You have most of the same actors. Some new ones in there, but he is in the DC, he is in the MCU, and it is Disney, so they can't get away. I think with some of the stuff that Netflix series done. I'm like, okay, you can have like. I think it's be rated TVMA, but you gotta show a Punisher who's mowing down people. The Punisher needs to be the Punisher. You can't make him like the eco-friendly Punisher. You can't make him the Disney Punisher. You need to just make him the Punisher, the killing badass, the guy who will kill anyone if he finds them guilty. He will punish them. That is who he is, and I love Jon Bernthal. I think he was great in his series. He was great in Daredevil, and I think he's going to be killing it in here. Now, the other thing we can talk about these images is people have noticed that some of the cops have a symbol on their like sleeve and around with Daredevil and Punisher, and it says like Anti-Vigilante Task Force by Mayor Kingpin. Now, this got me thinking. It really got me thinking about what is happening in the series. I think Kingpin hires Jon Bernthal. He hires him to lead this anti-vigilante task force, to give him. He's like, listen, Punisher, we were in prison together. We kind of hate. We have a hate like relationship. I don't know. Maybe he's tricked to say like, okay, you've turned a new leaf. All right, what do you want? It's like, I want you to leave my anti-vigilante task force. I want you to lead it. I want you to go out and stop crime. And maybe Kingpin has another fierce plan, but then that brings him to Daredevil. Daredevil is a vigilante. He's like, Punisher's like, Daredevil's gonna be like, wow, you're working for Kingpin. I thought you were against the system. He's like, I'm against the system. You're against the system. All right, you're hurting people. And maybe that is the concept for the show. I think the major concept is gonna be like, Kingpin is now mayor. How does Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock live with the fact that he knows Kingpin is the evilest of evilest people, and now in the eyes of everyone else, he's the good guy. And I'm very excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see my Punisher, my favorite. Yes, he is my favorite of the Netflix characters. And there's many things I think everyone's talked about. Which Netflix character coming back? I think if you're gonna do Iron Fist, you're gonna do Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, those other three Defenders, Elektra, Misty Moon, whoever Carly Wen. I think it's gonna be origin actors. And I think this is also redemption for some of them. I think for Finn Jones, if he does come back, it's gonna be redemption, because that wasn't Finn Jones. It wasn't Finn Jones' fault for what happened with Iron Fist. It was not. It was the directing and writing. I think I think they're like Shang-Chi's gonna be Lizard Iron Fist, but we're not talking about the Iron Fist. We're talking about how great it is that Jon Bernthal is back as the Punisher, wearing his iconic costume from the original show and his show. What do you guys think? Are you excited that the Punisher is back? Or are you like, not the big fan of the Punisher? Are you excited for Daredevil or not really? I am. I'm more pumped because Mr. Punisher will be showing up in the series. What are you guys' thoughts? Leave it down below, and let's move on to our... So let's talk about this next topic here, and that is a little event called Cinemacon. I was very much... when I started getting more into the moviescape, I discovered this event named Cinemacon. And you guys, as movie fans, probably know what Cinemacon is. It's not really like a Comic-Con. It kind of is Comic-Con, but not really. As Comic-Con's more of a fan event, this is more for investors, more for the movie theater owners and the studios to show off what movies are going to be playing in the theaters this year, and maybe beyond that. And for us movie fans, it's a chance for us to get new footage for movies and learn some stuff about what's really going on in studios, what movies are coming out, and what projects maybe aren't announced. There might be some surprises in there, and they might talk about stuff that we haven't seen anything for before. I talked like last year. They played some special test footage, I believe, for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. They introduced like a bunch of Spider-Man spin-off movies. Warner Brothers had a big panel. They talked about Wicked for the first. Universal talked about Wicked for the first time. Sorry, I honestly keep thinking Warner Brothers is doing Wicked, but it's really Universal. I don't know why I keep mixing it up, but we're gonna go over the schedule right now. We're gonna go over the schedule, and we're going to talk about what's going on and what movies are coming. So we might know what is going to be announced, what's going to be announced, what's going to be shown, and maybe what's going to be talked about. And we're only going to be looking at things like 2024 and maybe beginning of 2025. You know, anything after that is probably not going to be announced. But yeah, we're going to go with the schedule, so we're going to go with the schedule right now. Alright. So, beginning on the first day, there's not a whole lot on the first day. So we're on Cinemacon site basically right now. But on the first day, not a lot is happening. I'm going to tell you guys that. Not a lot is happening. The one thing, it's a bunch of like introductions, you know, welcome to Cinemacon, blah, 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 all that. But the first thing they're showing, which they usually save like this for like one of the later dates. They usually save this for one of the later dates. And that is they're showing The Fall Guy from Universal Pictures. They're going to be showing this movie. It's one of the big things. At Cinemacon, they always tend to show 2 free films. Last year, I believe they showed The Flash, and they showed Joyride, and I think that might have been it. I feel like there was one more movie, but I remember that they showed these 2 movies. A lot of people are hoping that maybe they'd show Deadpool 3. I don't think that's gonna happen. That stuff would leak immediately, so I don't think we're at that point yet. But, you know, we're getting The Fall Guy. And I'm excited to see there's a lot of good things being said about The Fall Guy. And it's kind of the first time it's being introduced to the theater owners and to media. So, we've had... I'm hoping for good things, hoping it's going to be what it says it is. It's a great movie. You know, I think it's going to be a hit. Yeah, I think it's going to be a hit for Universal. I think this could be start of a new franchise, or it could just be a one-off film. You know, because David Leitch is someone I've never really seen of making franchises, but I'm excited to see Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt together. I think they have great chemistry, especially what we saw at the Oscars. But yeah, that's all it is for Monday, which is the first day. And that's like at night, and then that's kind of it. And then we go to April 9th, which is the next day. And the first like kind of big panel is the state of industry and a special presentation from Crunchyroll. So this was surprising me because Crunchyroll has not ever been to Cinemacon. They weren't there last year. But it's Crunchyroll's part of Sony, and Sony Pictures is not attending this year. Not attending. And I think that's a good thing because they've had not the greatest year for movies. You know, you look at Man Web, you look at how the Ghostbusters film was doing, which I haven't seen it yet. I'm seeing it tomorrow. But, you know, I've heard it didn't get the greatest reviews, but the audience liked it, but it's not going to make, like, a whole lot of money. It's not. So... But Crunchyroll, that's interesting, because Crunchyroll is anime. And I am a big anime guy. I know it's surprising, you know. I love old media, and, you know, I'm hoping to see what surprises they're going to announce next Tuesday. I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see what they're going to announce. It could be getting new anime movies that I don't know about, announcing, well, yeah, new anime movies. You know, maybe they're going to announce another Dragon Ball movie, maybe, like, something... I don't know what else, but excited to see that. I'm going to be looking forward to it. I know it's not the most excited thing, but it's something for me that I'm excited for. I think it's really cool Crunchyroll's attending, you know. It's an anime platform, and I think it's really, really cool that how much anime has grown, like, in the public now. Since the pandemic, anime has really become mainstream. I feel like a lot more mainstream than it used to be. But yeah, that's going to be at 9 o'clock to 11:15. And there is another one, which is this one. Warner Brothers Pictures invites you to the big picture, a special presentation of its upcoming slate. It's 2 hours, and this is exciting. Now, up here, I have the list of pictures for movies coming out. So I wanted to look at what Warner Brothers could potentially show. So if we go over here, I'm looking at this page right now for Warner Brothers, and I'm seeing a few movies in here, a few movies. So I think we're gonna get something for the Watchers. Nope, it's the Watchers. Watchers is a new line. Sorry, I don't. Yeah, Furiosa. Furiosa is definitely gonna be shown here. You know, it's the next stage in the Mad Max saga. You know, Fury Road was one of the most like was probably people regarded as like the best movie of the franchise, and it's like been a few years since Fury Road, and we got Furiosa. It's got Chris Hemsworth and Anya Taylor-Joy, very hot actors right now. You're very hot. And we've got 2 trailers for it, which I guess is on my most anticipated list, so I definitely know they're going to be talking about this. They could potentially just go over Horizon, American Saga, the new Kevin Costner directed movies that are coming out, which would be very, very interesting. That looks interesting. And then we got Beetlejuice. We just got the trailer for this about 2 weeks ago, teaser trailer, and they could be talking more and probably going to present some special footage for it. Joker 2, blah 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 blah, whatever it's called. That they'll definitely be showing this because they announced this week, I believe, this week, that on the 9th they're showing the trailer, which is the same day as the panel for them. So that's very, very exciting for them to do. They're probably gonna have some special. They might do some special more stuff for it there, or they might just do like trailer there and then trailer online. So that's what they did for Transformers last year. So yeah. And then some things that I would love for them to talk about is maybe the new Red One movie. That's, I believe, the new Dwayne Johnson, Chris Hemsworth movie. It's like a type of like Christmas movie, which is, Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans, I feel like would definitely pull up here and like kind of talk about this movie. One movie I think talk about is Minecraft. Minecraft seems like a movie that would get bring out the cast, just kind of announce it, give us a logo for the movie, and because they're filming it right now, so they can maybe talk a little bit about it. And also another question people are wondering: DC. Is DC going to show up this year? My opinion, I don't think DC is showing up because James Gunn's already said he's not going to Comic-Con. And I highly doubt James Gunn is going here because he's in the middle of filming Superman, and I think he just wants to focus on that. Like, maybe Peter Safran shows up, but I would go in expecting nothing from DC. Because Cinemacon, they announced what's coming, but they also announced a few surprises into 2025. Because last year, they present Wicked was announced. Paramount announced the new Avatar animated movie, which we'll talk about once we get to Paramount section. But a lot of titles. I do not expect anything from the Batman 2 and Superman. I do not expect anything for. I think that stuff is going to be safe for next year. It could be. We could be talking about that. But overall, I think 2024 and maybe like Minecraft they talk about. But yeah, that's going to be the Warner Brothers panel. And it's 2 hours long, so. And Warner Brothers brought the heat last year. They brought the heat last year. Now we go on to April 10th. And this is kind of where a lot of the indie studios are. The smaller studios, and like not a lot of movies that have a lot coming out. We got Angel Studios here, which is one of the newer studios where they just had Sound of Freedom come out last year, which did really well at the domestic box office, $184 million. And that's great for Angel Studios, but they only have an hour presentations early in the morning, and I don't know, I think I'm not personally going to report on it because there's nothing from Angel Studios because they're very new, and there's nothing really I know that they're making that gets me excited. But then at 9:30 to 11, we have Lionsgate. Lionsgate actually was really cool last year because they had the Hunger Games. I can't remember what else they had. I just remember Hunger Games was a big thing for them last year. Like Hunger Games, and like a lot of they were excited for it. So I decided, like I did for Warner Bros., we're gonna look at the films they got, and so they could show something for Ministry of Ungently Warfare, but that's like coming out a week after. So like that's not really something they're probably not gonna talk about. The Strangers, like I was saying for Warner Bros., they're gonna talk about The Strangers. That's like their new like big series they're working on. You got, I think, Madeline Perch from Riverdale in there as the lead. Kind of like a new horror movie based on like the movie that came out like, I think, many years ago. Another one, The Crow, they're definitely going to talk about. Because The Crow, they've been trying to make this movie for years. They've been trying to make The Crow for years. And we just had the teaser for it, maybe like 3 to 4 weeks ago. Maybe teaser about official trailer. So I think they're going to go more into that, talk about it, and maybe bring the Skarsgård. Yes, I'm going to call him the Skarsgård on stage, and they're going to talk about like what they're doing in this movie. Definitely Borderlands. They're going to talk about Borderlands, which is a movie that looks good. It's directed by Eli Roth, which Eli Roth, he's a very, very, very good director. He just did Thanksgiving, but they kind of been switched. They kind of like he was doing it, then they brought someone else in, but you got a great cast. You got oh my gosh, like Kate Blanchett as Liv, which I thought was a weird casting. Like, why is Kate Blanchett in a Borderlands movie? And I think they're gonna bring out the cast because all of them seem pretty popular. You got Jamie Lee Curtis, Andrea Blorette from Barbie, and like Ahsoka. She's been like in everything, and Kevin Hart, of course, and maybe Jack Black as well. And then you also got Florence Mathieu, who you don't know, he was Victor Drago's son. No, Khal Drogo's son in Creed 2, and he was in Shang-Chi as Razor Fist. And a lot of these other movies, I don't see them really talking about. I'm trying to see for these movies anything else. Yeah, 2025, there's not really anything they can really talk about, because this is all TBA, if you guys see right here, John Wick Chapter 5, this is all to be announced, and these are films turning forward that haven't really had announcements yet, and yeah, there's not much here to really go into right now, but I think right now, I think they have some good movies for Lionsgate, but not a whole lot. And yeah, see, their presentation's only an hour and a half because they don't need the full 2 hours. And plus, like, it might start late, and who knows? And maybe Lionsgate announces some big thing like, we're doing a new Hunger Games to Jennifer Lawrence. Like, oh my gosh, they're doing Hunger Games, and like maybe they announce that. And then we get to 4 to 6 o'clock. 4 o'clock to 6 is when Universal Pictures and Focus Features will be doing a presentation, which is 2 hours, which means we're going to have Universal probably for an hour, and then part of the next hour is going to be Focus Features is going to be in there. So it's kind of like a combined event with both of them. And if we go look at the Universal Pictures movies coming out, we already know they're showing Fall Guy. Fall Guy will already be shown. I don't know for Abigail. Abigail, that movie comes out like the Ungentle Warfare new Guy Ritchie movie that coming out like a few weeks after Cinemacon, so there's not really need to talk about that. Definitely going to talk about Despicable Me 4. Twisters, probably going to do something for Twisters. And then Raw Robot and Wicked. I think most of the movies are going to be talked about. I don't know Speak No Evil. I haven't really heard of this movie before. But I think Fall Guy they probably won't talk about because they're already showing it at CinemaCon. And then Wicked is probably the thing I'm most excited about. Now, what can they talk about for 2025? Because 2025, they got a lot of things they can talk about. I'm going to say Jurassic World, they're not going to talk about it at all. They might say, like, hey, Gareth Evans directing, Charles Johansson starring in it. That's all. Because they're pretty sure they're still writing the script for it. But they're going to get going that really quick. Black Phone 2, I think maybe, not really. I think maybe. Megan 2.0 could be possible. That they say, like, hey, here's in it, blah, blah, blah. I think the one I would be freaked out about if they talked about is the How to Train Your Dragon film. The live action How to Train Your Dragon. Because you got the original anime. I love How to Train Your Dragon. I think it's great. And you got the director who directed all the anime movies to direct this movie. And you got the girl who played Joel's daughter in The Last of Us playing Astrid. And then you got Gerard Butler, I'm going to see the president, as Hiccups' father, Stoic, the chief of the Viking village. Very excited. I'm so glad Gerard Butler's in this movie, but I'm keeping my chances low. I'm hoping they talk about it, but I don't think they will. I think they're definitely going to talk about this Wolfman movie because it's very early 2025, and it seems like the Universal monster movies they've been making, that goes to Invisible Man, that Tom Cruise Mummy movie, there's maybe a bit of rumor that they're trying to restart that dark universe they did with Tom Cruise, but I think they're definitely going to talk about this Wolfman movie. I think it sounds interesting. I don't know who's in it, but it sounds interesting, but that's what I think we're going to get from Universal. And it's a 2-hour panel, so I think there's going to be some surprises in there. But like I said, they're going to be sharing with Focus Features, but they have a lot of combined films together, so I think that's why they're going to be together. Now, the last day is actually the biggest day, I think, which has 2 studios who have a lot of films and a lot to talk about. And that first studio is going to be Paramount. Now, Paramount only has an hour and a half, so it's possible they might not talk a lot, but we look at the list of Paramount movies coming out, and they have quite a year of movies. Probably some of the most intense movies, in my opinion, of this year. And first, they're probably going to talk about If, the new John Krasinski movie that's coming out May 17th with Ryan Reynolds. I think that definitely maybe we're going to release another trailer to the public, and have because they talked about it last year at Cinemacon, and I think they're going to talk about it again, even if it's only a month away. I think they still want to get some more marketing out for it. Just talk about it. Definitely Quiet Place start day one. Another John Krasinski franchise. We really look at like John Krasinski, like he's really becoming like a franchise director. I don't know if it's the franchise, but like Quiet Place Day One is the franchise he created. But with a new director, with a different director, but he did do the story. He did do the story. So, and it's got Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn, who Joseph Quinn's already going to be there because he's being honored with one of the acting achievement awards at CinemaCon on day one. And then we move to, there's two movies on here that I want them to talk about so bad. And that first one is Transformers 1. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but I am a huge Transformers guy. I love Transformers. I think the Transformers are awesome. I'm personally someone who grew up in Michael Bay movies, so I honestly, at a point, I like some of them. I don't like. I have a love-hate relationship with them. But, I love Bumblebee, Camaro, Yellow Camaro, that's my dream car. It's always been since I was a kid. But I'm excited to see this, new serious take on it. Because the last time they did an animated Transformers movie, they killed a bunch of Autobots and killed Optimus Prime. But this is not going to be like it. This is going to be taking place on Cybertron. And the thing is, everyone has wanted a Cybertronian war movie. But that is ridiculously expensive to do in live action. Ridiculously expensive. But a Transformers War on Cybertron movie could be very, very cool. And I'm excited to see, also, this is the first time Optimus Prime will be voiced by someone other than Peter Cullen in the movies. And they got Chris Hemsworth, which I'm interested to see the voices. Because for me, Peter Cullen is so iconic as the voice of Optimus Prime. All are one. We take the battle to them. Without sacrifice, there can be no victory. Like that, his voice is edge my mind whenever I say Optimus Prime quotes. So I'm wondering if Hemsworth's going for a Peter Cullen impression or he's trying to do his own thing. Like sounding like a younger Optimus. You got Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron. You got Scarlett Johansson as Alita 1. And then you also have Keegan-Michael Key playing Bumblebee, which could be very interesting. And I heard they showed this movie like a year ago to some like Paramount investors, and like it was very, very highly praised. And I'm excited to see anything else on it because it's on my list for most participated, and I love Transformers. Now, definitely gonna talk about Gladiator 2. They're gonna bring out Ridley Scott. They're gonna bring out Denzel Washington, Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, Joseph Quinn. Again, man, Joseph Quinn killing it. Connie Nielsen definitely out there. They're going to bring all of these guys out here to talk about Gladiator 2 because it's been, 24 years since Gladiator came out? Since 2000, so definitely going to bring him out. And I think Ridley Scott needs this being written. Because Ridley Scott, he did House of Gucci, flop, terrible. Napoleon, another very bad movie. No offense, Ridley Scott. Napoleon, I saw it. I thought it wasn't what I was. I thought Napoleon was going to be in like a Best Picture. It's going to be another nomination for Joaquin Phoenix. It was not. So I think this is Ridley Scott's last chance. And then I think if Gladiator 2 doesn't hit, he's done. I think he's got to retire. But let's move on to probably the movie people are looking forward to the most, and that is this boy right here, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Oh, Sonic has been on an interesting journey, hasn't he, folks? Like, he went from being ugly Sonic to like, this movie looks terrible, to a Sonic 1 movie, which surprised everyone by its box office and by how good and delightful it was. Then we went to Sonic 2. Me went to see Sonic 2, and it was maybe even better than the first, in my opinion, and made more money than the first, which made it immediately greenlight a Sonic 3, and then we're getting the Knuckles series actually this April, in like 2 weeks. And the big thing people are wondering, that people they are going to announce who plays Shadow, guys. It's possible. I think they're going to show a trailer too. But I think they're announcing the voice of Shadow because they haven't said anything about that. They've been hiding it. Like right now, the big rumor is Hayden Christensen, but I think they could really surprise us for who's going to voice it. I would love Hayden Christensen. I would love it because I think he's in kind of like a renaissance right now where he's getting back in. He had Star Wars. He's been in 2 Star Wars projects. They haven't been the best, but everyone has loved seeing Hayden Christensen again. And I think it's time for him to kind of get out of the Star Wars era. I think he wants to go play different roles, and if that's going to have to play play Shadow, it's terrific because Shadow is such an interesting character. Shadow is my favorite Sonic character. There's points where he's had a gun in his backstory. Oh, so sad. And yeah, those are really the big ones for 2024. Now, movies they could talk about. I think there's probably 3 movies. There's a couple movies they could talk about. I think Last Airbender they could talk about. I'd love them to talk about this new animated Last Airbender movie with Aang and the crew. Them kind of like 7 to 10 years, like jumping forward when they're kind of like young adults. I would love for them to talk about it. They announced it at Cinemacon last year, so if they talk about this, I will be very excited. I think Mission Impossible is a chance as well. They are filming it right now. But Tom Cruise, it's Tom Cruise. Like, you want to up your event, he's like, here's a little sneak peek at, some footage we got from set from Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2, or whatever they're going to call it. I don't know if they're going to call it Part 2 anymore. And then I think after that, maybe or I'm not saying they're going to talk about these. I'm saying that's a possibility. And I'm also saying that maybe Naked Gun they talk about. Because, I would love to know, because you got Liam Neeson here, and Naked Gun, it was kind of in that era when we had spoof films, like Police Academy, Airplanes, those type of movies. And I think if this, like, they're trying to bring, like, the spoof movie back, like, with this. And I think I've heard Liam Neeson is very excited to kind of show the world his comedic chops. But yeah, I don't think Ninja Turtle sequel, they're not going to talk about it. They're doing it, but they're not going to talk about it because that doesn't come out until 2026. And if we look over here, Quiet Place Part 3, not going to talk about. And then all their development movies, they could announce one of these. They could announce, like, big parts, like, hey, we're making a Beyblade movie. I think this is based on that, like, show that, yeah, like, we're doing here's a look at Beyblade, here's the cast. Yeah, and, like, maybe they say, here's Top Gun 3, introducing Tom Cruise and Glenn Powell to the stage. And, like, everyone would freak out. But, I think I'm going to kind of temper my expectations for this. I'm hoping for Sonic 3. Sonic 3, biggest news, I'm hoping. Transformers 1 some more news. But overall, I think we're in for a very exciting panel for Paramount. And plus, they only also have an hour to do it. So that's another thing. I'm talking so much right now, guys. And now, finally, the last panel of Cinemacon is the Walt Disney Studio. And this panel, guys, is 2 hours and 15 minutes. This is a long-ass panel. This is one of the longest panels of the show. And there's no, like, other one talking. It's just Disney. And we look at Disney, and we know they got some fire coming out this year. Let's look right here, they got, I think they're going to put out of it for 20th Century Studio time, and then they're going to talk about, maybe some of their other studios in between. So that we're definitely going to be talking about Kingdom of Planet of the Apes. I think they're going to bring the director out there, talk about the film, Wes Ball, very exciting for him to talk about that. I think Inside Out 2, definitely with Pixar. Basically, I think, I'm going to tell you this right now, I think we are going to get a trailer, not just released at CinemaCon, but I think we're getting a trailer released online, the second trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine. Because this is a way to get not just the audience of CinemaCon excited, but us as fans excited. I think, I know no one's reporting on it, but I'm going to say it now. I think it's I'm going to say 65% chance Deadpool and Wolverine gets a trailer too during this panel. And that would be amazing. I think, the movie's in July. If we don't get it here, we'll probably get one in May. But Deadpool and Wolverine, probably one of the most dire movies for Disney because MCU's been kind of poo-poo lately. X-Men 97, you guys know I've been reacting to it, enjoying it a lot, but that's TV side. Movie side, MCU is really downgraded, especially after the Marvels. I think that's when people are like, okay, I'm done. And we saw by the box office of that movie. So the thing is, I think if Deadpool 3 does not make at least 800 million. I know that's weird saying. It needs to make 800 million plus for it to be a success. I know to say something because we look at, Marvel used to bump out 800 millions all the time, but not anymore. They don't put that out. You look at Quantumania, that was not even a $500 million movie. The Marvels, which barely even made $200 million. They're in a bad place right now. They're very much in a bad place, and I think Deadpool Wolverine's gonna, if it's good, bring back that audience. Alien Romulus, I think they're gonna bring the director out and kind of talk about the movie and how it's different. And I think they're gonna bring out Fede Alvarez, who's he's such a good horror director, guys. Like, if you have not seen New Evil Dead, oh my gosh, terrifying. And the Don't Breathe movies, Fede Alvarez, I have nothing but nice things to say about him. And this Alien Romulus show, you saw my reaction. The teaser trailer scared the crap out of me, so definitely look forward to that. Moana 2, I think they're going to talk about Moana 2 because they just shared like an image today about it. And I think definitely Moana 2 is going to get there. I don't know, I think Mufasa, they're not going to talk about it because I think Mufasa has been pushed back a year because we've heard nothing about this. Like, we've heard more about Snow White than this Mufasa The Lion King movie. I think it's pushed back or canceled because they did say, Bob just a few weeks ago, that he canceled some movies quietly. Somebody's got movies quietly. Now, those are 2024. The question is, are they going to show anything for 2025? 2026, the Avengers, Star Wars, Avatar 4, like, out of the question, not going to talk about. I think biggest ones they will talk about, if they can get there. If they get there, I think is Snow White, ELO, and Zootopia 2. Now with that, you guys, I'm not mentioning the Marvel or the big ones, Avatar, because I think those are very iffy. Because Captain America 4, Brave New World, reshoots. Totally, I don't know if they want to show anything for that yet. And I think Fantastic Four, they don't need to show anything. They haven't started filming this movie yet. There's nothing really to show. I mean, like, the only thing they would do is like bring out the cast, which they don't really need to do, and maybe talk about what the story's about. Maybe that's what they do, but I don't think so. Blade, we've heard nothing on this movie for years, and I honestly think it's been canceled. The two movies I think could possibly be talked about, but one of them kind of likely, one very, very low. I think Thunderbolts could be talked about. Because Thunderbolts, they're like the only one filming right now. They can send a little message from set, with the entire cast, Florence Pugh, David Harbour, Sebastian Stan, kind of like, hey, Thunderbolts, blah, 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 and introducing our Sentry, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I think could happen. But it's very low. Now, the biggest low one could be Avatar 3. Because that is still, like, what? Maybe like almost 2 years away. But it's possible, but very, very low, because I don't even know if they're filming it right now, but it's very low that Avatar 3 is talked about. It would surprise everyone that they were talked about. Now we could go onto movies like over here, undated films. They could talk about the new Tron Ares film, which would very much interest me because the set photos for it look very, very interesting. And it's a 2025 movie, 2025. So Tron Ares would be another one they could very much talk about. I don't think they'll talk about anything beyond 2025. Nothing beyond 2025. Mandalorian and Grogu, not going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about, any Marvel movies in 2026. What I would love as a surprise, just so they would surprise us, is Hercules. I love the animated Hercules. It's probably my favorite Disney animated film. I think it's great. The music is so iconic, and it's been a bit weird. People think it's been one of the movies that got canceled. Joe and Anthony Russo, the directors of Avengers Endgame, were involved in it. And it would be really cool if we got an update on that. And I think it would be awesome, you know, talk about the story. I like maybe announce like blah blah blah's Hercules, and that would be very cool. But I don't think a lot of these movies are going to be talked about. I think just 2025. They're going to stick to 2025 because you look at like all these rumored movies right here, like a Real Steel sequel, Prey sequel, James Mangold's Star Wars film, Free Guy sequel, which I didn't even know that was happening. Damn, they're going to get a Free Guy sequel. When? Alita Battle Angel. Oh, that would be awesome. That would be a really cool announcement. Like, we're doing Alita Battle Angel 2. Because I love Alita Battle Angel 1. It was so good. Wasn't a huge financial success. But it was amazing. And I'm down for any anime live action they can turn into film. You know, Alita Battle Angel, you know, I think it's probably one of the best anime movies transcribed into live action, American-wise. But, yeah, that's it. That is CinemaCon, guys. Do you guys have any other thoughts? Do you think I kind of covered it all? Is there anything I missed? Or any movies you're excited for that you're hoping are announced this spring? And that's going to be it for this episode of Let's Talk About It. Please make sure you like and comment on the video and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you next time. Peace!